Mitchell Campbell. Mitchell Campbell. He's right up front, coming up front in a black shirt, I think. Is it? Oh, it's greenish. All right, have fun.
I'm afraid there's going to be some ghost that's going to take control of me during this now. Also, forgive me in advance. I'm not used to having so many adults have to listen to me say something, so brace yourself. So often in the winter months when I was growing up, my grandpa would pay me a few bucks to help him wash and wax the boat while it was in winter storage. During the winter months, all the boats in the marina are crammed into this big warehouse building side by side. So it would just be me, my grandpa, at least 50 huge boats, and a little battery-operated radio that would be tuned into NPR. We'd often be working when a Prairie Home Companion was playing. In addition to the radio, we'd also talk about all sorts of things during the long afternoons of scrubbing and polishing. And as I got older, the topics changed from classes and interests to politics, history, how things were going with my long-divorced parents, and even more than that. My grandpa is a very intelligent and also very grounded person. I always respected him a lot, and part of it is his time in the Army with his career as a judge turned him into a person who is as caring as he is practical, which is a really beautiful thing to find in a person. Still, we weren't really that close until we started having those afternoons together and really started to form a personal relationship from there. My senior year of high school, I went into our afternoon working on the boat, knowing that I wanted to tell my grandpa that I was gay. When I look back at my coming out experiences, very few of them are the kind that you would find in a coming-of-age movie in Hollywood. Far from the well-scripted dramatic moments, mine tend to be a little more awkward and indirect. The first time I ever came out, I was having breakfast with some friends at Perkins. One of the friends was a girl who had a crush on me for a very long time, which I learned was a mistake. And one of my friends just said, "Man, it's like you're gay or something." And I was just like, well, maybe I am gay. The stunned silence that followed would have been traumatic had it not been for one of my other friends coming to the rescue with a well-timed, "Yay!" My freshman year of college, I went to a new doctor, and we were getting toward the end of my physical, and he was starting to tell me about the different sort of vaccinations I could get that were optional, and I was starting to get really desperate about, outing myself to my doctor. And so as he was telling me that I could get the HPV shot to protect any future female partners, I just said, "Yeah, I'm not planning on having any of those." And his quick response was, "Oh, are you a homosexual?" Yep. So the problem is I go into these situations with the goal of coming out, but don't actually think through a plan of how to make that. The other trope that you often see in Hollywood movies is the tearful mother telling her son that she'll always love him as she gives him a big hug after he's come out to her. My mom found out that I was gay by reading through my email account. And we actually got into this cycle where she would yell at me, and we'd both cry a lot, and then we'd wake up the next morning and just pretend it hadn't happened. So my mom told me that it was disgusting and wrong. She told me that she could never love the part of me that was gay, or ever meet a future partner. She even said that I should go to conversion therapy and tried to bring me. The really messed up thing is that for a very long time, I actually genuinely agreed with the things my mom was saying. I had come out before, but I used those kinds of things as sort of a way for those positive messages to kind of wash over me from people that I knew were going to be supportive. It was kind of a band-aid of support on this deep wound of self-hatred that was really tearing me up on the inside, even though it was invisible on the outside. But all of that was about to change as I was buffing this kind of mint green wax into a beautiful sheen on the Hall of Justice, the punny name that my grandpa came up for his boat from his career as a judge, and it's also a reminder that we're related. Under the blinding fluorescent lights and with the smell of boat polish burning my nostrils, I said, "I'm gay." After I said the words, but before he really had a chance to react, I started crying. That was the first time in my entire life that I had ever said those words to someone I was related to. And more than that, it was the first time that I came out in a way that really exposed that darkness that I was hiding instead of covering it up. With my words, I sort of fractured the vessel that was holding all of that darkness, and some of it started to spill out. And as my grandpa told me that there was nothing wrong with me, and that he was glad that I had told him, and that I could always talk to him whenever I wanted to, the spot that had been inhabited by that darkness was filled with a little bit of light instead. Over the next few years, I continued to dismantle the vessel that had held all that darkness inside, until I had washed all of it out of me and made a promise to myself that I would never let darkness live inside of me again. I don't know that I could ever express to my grandfather how significant it was that he supported me at a time when I was finding fewer and fewer reasons to live, and at a time when I thought that family was incompatible with support. So maybe even more than being proud of being gay, I'm proud of being proud of being gay, because that recognizes better the journey that I've gone through to be able to take that deep wound, the self-hatred, and turn it into something that's beautiful. Ooh, I almost stuck it. And I guess to leave you, I want to, in the spirit of my grandfather, leave you with the piece of advice that my grandfather gives to everyone, and it's his #1 piece of advice, which is never pass up the opportunity to use a bathroom. So.